Hi all, welcome back to the final whistle for the X-Fox in the Box, and tonight we've got former Leicester City skipper and club legend Steve Walsh joining us tonight to chat about Walsh's career at Leicester and overall football career in general, what he's up to these days, and yeah, we're going to ask him about Leicester City tonight as well, what he thinks of them. Sorry we are late, Walsh just turned up, he did forget, but as long as the show goes on, that's all that matters. But yeah, join us. Get your questions in for Walsh here if you've got any. And yeah, let's get going. Hit that like button if you enjoy the stream. Subscribe if you haven't already and you're new. It'd be appreciated. Hello, Kason. How are you? Hope you're good. Rossi, LCFC 1993. How are you as well? Evening, Terry. And yeah, evening, Haley, Michael, and everyone else who's joined. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Mad. Let's get the legend in himself. Captain, fantastic. A guy who made 449 appearances for Leicester City. No introduction needed. 2 League Cup winner and playoff winner, Mr. Steve Walsh. Walshy, how are
Good
you?
evening, guys. Yeah, great to be on your show.
Fantastic.
Sorry,
Good to have you,
apologies
Walshy.
for my forgetting. I set the wrong alarm to 06:35, 25 to 7. I thought it was, and obviously I'm getting a bit old these days. It was my birthday yesterday. I turned 60, so please forgive me anyway. And maybe it's heading all them footballs and people's heads in the old days, which we used to do.
No, hope you had a great 60th birthday, Walsh. Did you get up to much?
That didn't do much, just a family meal at the new 72 bar, just round the corner from the King Power. It's a fabulous place. I think it's going to be the in place for Leicester fans to go to. So yeah, I went there. It's an Indian type meal, but it's a fantastic bar to go to. It really is.
Fantastic. All right, Jack. Where's Waller? Well, Waller's here.
Yeah.
Evening, Walsh here. Make one more appearance. It's 4:50. Come on, Cooper, do the right thing. I mean, I'm sure Steve would appreciate coming in to make one appearance for Leicester this season, Ross. But Walsh, let's talk about your career. I mean, started off at Wigan. Talk to me about how football started for you.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm actually going up to Preston, where I was born, tomorrow morning early. I've got my dad passed away this year early, February, March. So I'm doing a little chat with some Preston North End fans, but basically it was my dad who used to take me everywhere. That's where I grew up, and that's where football all started for me. I moved on from a Preston team to a Blackpool team, and Alan Ball was the manager of Blackpool at the time. He signed me on a non-contract basis when I was 15, threw me out, and I had to just wait a year, and then Wigan Athletic came in for me. So that's where it all kind of started for me, and obviously then with the 4 years at Wigan Athletic, and Brian Hamilton was the manager of Wigan in that final year, and obviously came down and signed for Leicester. So he brought me with him, and I never thought twice. I just wanted to play at the top level. Leicester were in the Premier League, or the First Division as it was then, and I just felt it was just right for me. And who would have thought the roller coaster ride that I've been on since June 1986, when I first walked in the club, that I'd spend this long and live here, have family, and the love affair that went along the way with the fans. So it's been a fantastic ride for me.
Yup, 1986, signed from Wigan, 100k. It's quite low money back then, wasn't it, to what it is now, obviously. I think nowadays you'd have probably been about a £60 million defender, wouldn't you, to be fair, if you was in today's market with how expensive the footballers go for these days. But Brian Hamilton, I have dug a photo out, Walsh. I mean, you don't look no different, do you, really, you know?
That was yeah. I think that was that against Luton, my first game. That's when I arrived. The first, yeah, that's it. That was on the programme the very first time my first game against Luton Town. I think we drew 1-1, I think, or 0-0. Can't remember. But long time ago.
Is it good to have that type of manager for you though, someone who you grew with at Wigan to then move to Leicester City with, and you know you kind of like bed yourself in more quicker at the club?
Yeah, I think so. I think that was important. And like I say, it's quite a big thing for a young lad to move away from the family, and as far as 2.5, 3 hours from Preston, and up sticks, leave my house, I'd all done up, and I broke my leg the year before, so I was quite lucky really that I got the offer and the chance and the opportunity, but I was never quite fit until a year or so and got into the stride of playing at that level. But we had a great start, to the season that year. My first season, we beat Liverpool 2-1. We drew with Man United, I think 0-0. Frank Stapleton played, but Liverpool. I remember Dalglish played, and scored against me really 2-1, but we still won that game. And we beat Forest, I think, early on. So that's beating Forest is always a big one for me, and that's why I was disappointed the last week. But there you go, Forest are doing very, very well.
Yep. 449 appearances, 62 goals. I mean, talk to me about your time at Leicester, 14 years. It's a long time, isn't it? I mean, you look at Jamie Vardy now, who's spent, nearly 12 and a half years at Leicester. 14 years for you is some time that obviously flew by. You played with many good players, many partnerships you built with Matt Elliott, Jerry Taggart, and players like that over the years. But what was it like from start to finish for you with Leicester?
Well, listen, it was my 15th season where things came to a halt, through Tater Peeler, I call him, but I can't swear, can I, on here? But
That's all
I
right.
wish I could. But no, look, I played 449 games for Leicester. With me injuries and my red cards, it could have been another 100 on top of that, especially me, and another probably 15 red cards. But it was a fantastic ride. I must admit. I came here in that first year, and unluckily I got an injury after about 16, 17 games, I think, and I tore my groin, and I was out for the rest of the season. So I had to watch us get relegated, and I was more determined after that when I came back to get us back to where I came. Excuse me, and
Bless you.
along that way, I had a lot of operations on my body. I had some terrible injuries throughout my career, but like I say, I wanted us to get back to where what I wanted when I first came to the club, and it took a hell of a long time, longer than I thought, to get back up. It was hard work, getting the right partner to play alongside me as well. A lot of graft and determination and team spirit was needed in the end, and like I say, it took us about 6 years, I think, to get to that first 1992 playoff final against Blackburn Rovers, and to be beaten, because that's when the Premier League, the first
Yeah.
was born, really, and that would have been fantastic, to get back then. But Dalglish and Blackburn and Mike Newell and people I knew at Blackburn, obviously that's a rival team for Preston North End and Blackpool and my northern connection. But it was a bit annoying, and it destroyed us a little bit. I didn't think, the next time we were going to get back there. Didn't feel it was right. And then, we got there again with Swindon. It was three, and then Black and Derby. So it's three in 3 years. We had three Wembley finals, which was it's unheard of, really. And to be disputed penalties for two of them, the Swindon and the other one, Mike Newell, of course, David Speedy's dive, which a lot of people debate, but for me it was definitely a dive. And so to lose like that to two penalties in the fashion that we did, especially Swindon as well, because we came back there from, what was it, 3-0 down? We came down back, and what a game that was, I'll never forget that. And that was, where I think that Leicester started to kind of, the comeback kings. We'd always, whatever happened, we'd come back, even if, it was the 90th minute. We always used to score a few late goals, and we were. I think that's to do with the spirit and the team's work ethic and the togetherness that we created.
Yeah, talk to me about some of the managers you played under. We
Yeah,
talked about Brian Hamilton, Brian Little, Martin O'Neill. I mean,
yeah,
talk to me about both sets of their
yeah.
managers. I mean, how did they have an influence on your career?
Yeah, well, Brian Little was fantastic. He was the first manager that I thought, you know what, I really get on with him. I used to go round to his house on a Friday night. I used to live in the same village as him, we'd have a good chat about things, privately. In training, he put me up front, mainly to get out of trouble from getting sent off. I got sent off twice in a week, I think it was, and he had to strip me of the captaincy, and obviously Simon Grayson lifted the Derby final trophy, which I should have been lifting that. I thought that was a bit too severe, taking the captaincy off me, but he did it. He had to, and he was ashamed. But Brian was a fantastic fella. He trained with us as well. Me and him up front. It just reminded me Peter With and Brian Little as they played, in them old days. And he was a massive, obviously. Villa was his love of football, was that club as well. And I understood why he left in the end. But we went on, he had a 3-year plan, and it worked exactly to plan. Incredible, really. Three times to Wembley in consecutive years. It was amazing, really, when you look back at how many times in the 90s we played 7 times at Wembley, in a decade. Incredible. So, but Brian was a great fella. Obviously he was limited with money to buy players. But he got the best out of a lot of players. Okay, there was a lot of signs that everyone, when you look back, it makes you cringe a little bit, but he knew what he wanted, and he knew how to get out of the division, and in the end, he did it, and he did it in style. And then obviously he left us for Villa. So, but he called me and said, "Look, I don't really want to leave this club, but I've got to take this. It's my only opportunity to probably manage Aston Villa," and that was his club. So I understood. A lot of fans obviously didn't, but these things happen, and it was a new era after that. So, I'd done my cruciate ligament, and I played on in that final, that Derby final, which was, I did damage to my knee. I knew I had, but I left it, and I got through pre-season. I played against Newcastle, and I knew something was bad. And then Tuesday night, I went at Blackburn, I think it was, and my knee it was just popping, clicking, and I knew there was something wrong. I played on it, like I do, stupidly, and I hit the post with a header, I think, as well. But I came off, I think, near half time. That's all I got out of me. So I was out then for another side on the sidelines. So it was disappointing. But Brian, going back to the managers, from then, I think it was Mark McGee, wasn't it? And then O'Neill came in 1996, and obviously he bought Muzzy, Matt Elliott, and Lennon, and these signings were incredible players that go on to Leicester City and really lift us to heights that we've never known before. And the wage structure that changed, and how much they were playing players. Everything changed. And O'Neill, although he started pretty badly with results wise, I think that it was hard to get used to his ways. But I look back and think he was a genius, really. How he operated, a bit cluffy. He won't like me
Mm.
saying that, but he was definitely had cluff in him in some of his ways. But he was very deep thinker. And I almost thought he didn't like me at all. He'd walk past me, and sometimes never even look and speak. And he blamed a lot of things on me. I was captain at the time.
Mm.
And I suppose he had a right to do that, but I really didn't feel that he actually liked me. But I understood after, when I used to go and see him, I'd go and watch Celtic, and he'd invite me up, and then I understood where exactly. I could just think back and think, I know why he was doing that now. He was testing people out, and he knew that's what I needed to operate and be at my best. Some people need an arm around the shoulder, like Steve Guppy and Esky sometimes, other players, but then he'd rip into me, Lennon, so he was, I guess he's got to be the best manager that I've played under, playing under several, as you know. But I think for the success of that, but Brian, as a friend and what he did for Leicester, I've got to admire so much, So they were both very evenly matched, but Martin will pip it because of what we won and what we went on to in the success of winning Coca-Cola Cup and winning the Worthington, with Tranmere, and obviously qualifying for Europe. Some fantastic memories and things that I've played for Leicester, and scored some goals that I'll never forget, and I can still. The Arsenal was like better than Derby for me. Everyone's saying Derby was the game for me because I came through so much and an injury that I didn't play all season. Yeah, and it was silence of the Rams, but that and it needed to be silenced them Rams, and we did it in a fashion as you know. But when I used to score goals in front of that Kop, I've never ever had a feeling in life like it. It was incredible. It really was.
Yeah, Filbert Street was some atmosphere, wasn't it,
Yeah.
when you'd score and that Arsenal game, the 3-3. I think that was when Dennis Bergkamp. I think Dennis Bergkamp still speaks about it to this day, where you'd kind of headbutted him behind, and
Yeah.
he's kind of like, "What do I do here? I don't deal with these type of defenders." And then he goes
Yeah,
over to
well,
Matty
you've got to
Elliott's
try, got to
side, and he's
try
just
these
like,
things.
"Yeah,
He
gotta
was
stay away
looking.
from Walsh."
He was a bit too sharp for me for a while, so I had to just stick one on the back of his head, and that was it. And he walked over to Matt Elliott's side, and I think it was the best thing I've ever done in football because he destroyed him and not me. So and I got the equaliser. But a lot of people forget that Matt actually scored the second goal for Leicester in that game
Mm.
and got us back in it. So he's got a little bit of justice there. But yeah, and Bergkamp, let's be honest with you, what a player he was. He gave me all his shirts every time. I think he were frightened to death, of me, and I'd always ask for his shirts. And there was one time away at Harby, I think at Highbury, sorry. And I don't know if you've heard the story. I've told it quite a few people, but I asked him for his shirt there as well, and I think we were 5-0 down at half time, and he ended up 6-1. So it was like a 1-1 draw for me because I came on a sub at half time, and so Dennis, can we swap shirts? He said, yeah, come on then, we'll swap them. So I started to take mine off. He said, no, I don't want yours, but you can have mine. So yeah, it was quite funny. I kept wondering to myself, why would he want my shirt on his mantelpiece? But come on, it was great, and yeah. But he was a nice fella, and they were, like I say, that was a memory for me that was probably my best, finest ever moment. I think if I'm, I don't know, I can't. It's got to be right up there as in the top three anyway, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, massive header. And then full time came and it all started kicking off. Ian Wright and that, and I don't
Yeah,
think Ian
they were
Wright were in
big,
happy
big
man
time,
after
weren't
that
they?
game.
Big time Charlies, you see, and because little Leicester had brought them down to earth a little bit, they didn't like it, you see. So Vieira he gets involved, and Ian Wright. So it was a bit of kind of, chat all the way down to the tunnel. There was nothing really said that was that bad, but yeah, it was quite funny for me. But we got sanctioned to the FA in the end as well. We had to go down to Lancaster. Sorry, not Lancaster Gate. What was it called? Forget what it's called. It was the FA anyway, and so Ian Wright. When we got there, he was chauffeur driven. Me and Martin had gone on the train. He never said a word to me the whole way down, Martin. And luckily, right, he just got up the steps. Said, "Walsh, if you don't say anything, I'll give you a signed shirt from that match." So fair enough, righty, we'll do that then. And within an hour, we'd gone, and it was all quashed. And that's how it was. But Wright is a good guy, really. Although at the time he's quite annoying. I wanted to slow him down a little bit, and used to try and kick him off the park like I did with Steve Bull, but he was a bit too quick at times.
Talk to me how you first met Jerry Taggart, Walsh. I think I heard the story of when you first met Jerry. He was young, and I think you laid one on him, didn't you, in one of the games? Was it when he played for Bolton or Stoke?
It was at Barnsley. Yeah.
Was it Barnsley?
Yeah, and I didn't know who he was then. I had no idea, and I just remember this lad, and I got into the Barnsley box, and he elbowed me. I thought, flipping heck, what's going on here? How can he do that? So there was another opportunity in the box, and I just laid him out, and he just with me elbowed him that bad. He'd gone down. Well, he just fell over, and I just said to him, I forget what I said, but it was something sarcastic anyway. But that's how I worked, an eye for an eye. You hurt me, I hurt you back, and that's how it was. But I always did a good job of it, and so Jerry got the wrath of me elbow, and but we laugh about it now. Jerry's a great friend. I'd like to think we've both helped each other on our ways to the top with Leicester as well. Jerry came in to replace me, really. But I was happy with that. It kept me going for another couple of years, to be honest with you. So yeah. But Jerry's a good bloke, and he needed levelling out. So that's what I did. Yeah. I didn't get
Roscoe's on about tags, clipping Savage round the ear on the pitch.
Yeah. I can remember that. I don't think I'm not sure whether I was in that game. I played in that game, but I obviously remember the instance. I could have been, and but Savage could have been smacked by anyone. We all would have smacked him if we could. But Jerry had the balls to do it. Yeah.
Let's have a look at your red card thing. You're the joint holder. I know people talk about this quite a lot when they talk to you about the red cards, about the record. The most red cards in the Football League history. 13.
Fantastic. Proud
Talk
of every one of them.
Talk to me about your favourite sending off.
Well, I think a lot of people have heard it, but it was the Carl Leaburn one. I think it was where he at Leicester at Filbert Street, he spat in my face, but it was a bad one, like right down my face, and that to me ain't right. It's worse than anything, It's a proper insult, that was, and I chased him around the pitch, couldn't get him for last 20 minutes, and but I marked his card, and the next time we played Charlton was away at West Ham. For some reason they were ground sharing, and we had about 8,000, 9,000 Leicester fans behind the goal. What a massive game it was, and he wasn't playing actually, but we came off 1-0 down, and I seen him in the tunnel, and I just whacked him one, and I slipped underneath, back into the changing room, sat in the changing rooms, and he was in his suit, you see, so someone must have seen it and reported it, and so the police came in, and 2 coppers came in and got hold of me. Number 5, there's been an incident in the tunnel. I go, oh yeah, and they got hold of me arm by arm and escorted me out to the ref's room and said, referee, there's been an incident in the tunnel. Steve Walsh is number 5. Did you see the incident? Referee said no. So I was like laughing really, and just ended up going back into the changing rooms and sat down, and I thought to myself, there you go. I've got him back. That's all I needed, and I was happy. I was happy that I got him back. He deserved it, and but we lost that game, I think, and that was disappointing. And I think I got sent off in that second half, so it didn't really matter. But as far as the result was, it was a bad result for us, bad day, bad night, and there you go. But that's one of the best ones, really. I mean, there were so many of them, weren't there, the red cards, and I'm thinking I should have had another 20 easily. Some of the things that go back and think, how they didn't pick up on it, but them cameras were a bit of a nuisance, weren't they, when they came out and caught me against Chris because my very first red card cost me 25 grand, and that I couldn't afford it. I was only on 300 quid a week. I just signed for Leicester, 300 quid a week, and that's what I was on, really. And but I got 3 grand signing on fee as well, which I thought was brilliant. And but that first red card, 25 grand, I just couldn't pay it. The lads chipped in a bit, and in the end, the FA had to kind of quash it and pay it. So I think that's what happened. And then my last red card was Chris Sutton, and that cost me 60 grand. So you can look at the different, how stupid it was on TV. But there was a bit of history between me and Sutton. Don't like it. And, and he was nipping me from behind, and I elbowed him, and right in front of the referee. It was just stupid, And I missed the cup final, you see. This is where I was not on a lot of money. Even then, the lads were on a lot more than me. I could never get a good contract because of the injuries I'd had. But so I missed out on all the bonuses and the qualifying for Europe, all the pro rata monies that you get. So that was disappointing. I got 2 weeks' wages fine, and it totaled 60 grand. So it wasn't great, but I'll never forget every one of them. They were fantastic for me, and these Leicester fans fueled a lot of them. Wolves away, and I can just remember. The Leicester fans, and because they loved it with Bully, and what a game that was. Always me and him. We only got 1 red card each, really, but we had a lot more. So yeah, but great memories. I look at it now and I can laugh, but at the time, obviously, it's cost me a lot of money, and it cost the club points. But that was me. That's how I was, and unfortunately, I paid the price.
Yeah, Ross says you didn't elbow Sutton. He just attacked. He just walked into his throat.
No, I think it was an elbow into his throat. Yeah, I'm sure it was because he was screaming anyway.
Talk to me how you started with Collymore. Obviously, I know you spoke about it on Under the Caution. You ended up missing the game. I think Martin O'Neill were fuming at a point with you and Collymore over a certain thing in an hotel. But talk to me about Collymore in that point as well.
Well, Collymore, when he came, listen, he was prepared to muck in and get on with things, and he had to. He was never going to be bigger than the likes of himself, Lennon, and we'd been there a few years at the club, so he came in with not a real attitude. He was just seemed a good lad, told us a lot of stories, and he was on a few tablets at that time, depressant, because of what happened in his lifestyle and what had happened. But he got me in bother twice, and because I was captain, and I got pulled into 2 incidents. The one was the fireman stand, the fire extinguisher in La Manga. Which everyone will know that story. But the worst was really when he took me out with his driver, took me, Darren Eady, Stan, and someone else who was injured for the Tranmere final. And O'Neill gave us a 12 o'clock deadline. I think we got back at 12:30, which wasn't a problem, really. There was a Tranmere, some Scousers in the reception, so we just had a couple of drinks. And then all I just remember was Stan being held up by this guy, this Scouser, by his throat, near the lifts. And I'm trying to just keep it short, this, but the long version is very, very good. Anyway, so I went across, and someone in a wheelchair tripped me up as I'm running across. One of the family, this Scouse family. It was absolutely hilarious. Guy off Stan, and got Stan, put him in the lift, took him upstairs, and it was just mental, really, because Neil chucked us out of the hotel at 8 o'clock in the morning. He had his glasses in my face. Walsh, you're a disgrace. Get out of this hotel. So, I thought, well, I'm not, because I've not done anything. He didn't wait to listen to a story, anything, just chucked us both out. We went to a hotel in London. And luckily, Andy Neville didn't want to give us 2 tickets either for the game. It was really awkward with us, and understandably, really, but no one knew the whole story. So I can't really tell the rest of it, but that was the reason, really, and that was Stan. But another funny story was when the first time we went to an away match when Stan arrived. Forget where we played, and so I was captain. I'd come on. We just had a meal at the ground, and the bus was waiting. So obviously, when Stan had got on the bus, he'd gone down to the back of the bus where we sit. I sit next to Marshy, and so Stan said, "Well, am I all right to sit there?" And Marshy said, "Yeah, you're all right. Sit down there, mate." And Marshy knew what he was doing, and it was my seat. I'd had it 14 years, and so I got on the bus, and Stan sat in my seat. So I said, "Stan, yeah, listen, mate, that's my seat." And there's Marshy laughing his head off like a little school kid, and he just set me up, really. And Stan, he did move over, and that was the start of our relationship. But he was all right with Stan. He was good bloke.
Yep. Let's have a look at the two playoff wins and the two League Cup wins. I mean, talk to me about the 4 games. I tell you what, we'll talk about the 1994 one first. A silence of the Rams.
Yeah, yeah.
Steve Walsh getting 2 goals from Leicester being 1-0 down. I mean, the cross which comes in, and then you manage to
Yeah,
tap it
it
home and
was.
get the
You
winner.
know what? Like I said before that game, when I knew when we sat down and he read the team sheet out, of me, Ewan Roberts, and who else was up front? Ian Ormondroyd. That's right. The three
Yeah.
of us playing up front. I really didn't feel that was the right way to play. I thought I was needed at the back. We got exposed many times in that game. Derby missed so many chances, but it was fate. There was something there for me, and I knew, even though I was weakened through, the knee operation, I only played 1 game that season when I came back, and but I knew that was going to get me up for it. I had the old Voltral, them tablets that you used to get from hospitals, just to numb the pain,
Yeah.
and I got through quite okay, but my knee was weak. I jumped and got that goal before half time, and honestly, I would have been another 6 foot higher than that normally, because that's the knee that I jump off. But I still got the highest, and just got my head on it just enough, and Ewan fended the keeper off pretty well. And it was Williams, wasn't it, on the line, who tried to, but the spin on the ball deceived him, and went into the net, made him look foolish, and I just couldn't believe that I'd actually equalised. And obviously then the second half, I thought he was set up for us. They missed a few chances, and I can just remember passing it into Joachim out to the wing to Grayson. Grayson whipped a terrific ball in that any striker had won. Ormondroyd couldn't do any more. He thought it was his goal, and what's the name of the keeper? I forget the keeper's name. A good keeper for Derby at the time. He stopped that header. I don't know how he stopped it. And momentum took me in, and I was there in the right place at the right time, and the rest is history. It was incredible. And emotions for me, scoring both goals at Wembley for Leicester is terrific. I've scored three goals, I think, in total at Wembley, so it's a record, I think, that as well. So great. It was unbelievable, and we were back in the Premier League where we belonged, and we went on to some real up and down still. Again, 1 year, 95 up and down because I didn't play the next year. I was out again, and then 96. Obviously we know what happened there with Big Palace in the playoffs. That was incredible. So yeah, that was the start of the O'Neill, brigade. So it was incredible.
And then the Middles Brigade at
Uh,
Hillsborough,
yeah,
second
Middlesbrough
leg.
game. That was a game where we nearly lost that at Wembley. There's no doubt we didn't play. We'd been away before that to I
Yeah.
think Tenerife or somewhere for a week, at least a week. I'm sure it was, and we never even trained. I think it was a bit strange actually, but Martin wanted it that way, and we had a fantastic spirit, but we got the equaliser late with that Heskey on the line, finish, and I knew then we'd won it. I knew we'd beat Middlesbrough in that replay, and that was what a what a game, at Hillsborough, and for me to lift the cup, and obviously elbowed Nigel Pearson to get that goal. But, but I spoke to Nigel about that, and he laughs it off. But it was Nigel was a terrific player, he really was. But I got one over on him and nodded it down for Claridge on a plate I used to always do that. I don't know how many assists but I got a hell of a lot of assists as well for Leicester players, I can tell you.
Yeah, Nigel Pearson was a big centre half, wasn't it? And when you two come to
Yeah.
blows, it's kind of who's going to get the
Oh,
better of each other.
yeah, I remember at Sheffield Wednesday playing against him, and I thought, who's this guy? Kept coming in, attacking the ball, and I just missed the ball and headed his head, and he went off with concussion, and it was. But oh God, I was glad to be honest with you because he was going to score, and that's the tactics that we had to use.
Charity boxing match, Pearson v Walsh.
and
I'm sure we can make that happen. Walsh, I've got a few more questions for you before I let you go.
yeah, yeah.
Top 5 Leicester City moments.
Oh, flipping heck! What do you mean? Mine?
Yeah, yours.
Well, Derby top. What is one?
Yeah.
Arsenal two. Fulham equaliser 3. Uh, Southend away. Does anyone remember that with the white kit? Oh, flipping out! That was amazing. 4 and number 5 lifting the League Cup. Madrid is 6, and I can go on. There's so many moments for me. They're all up there. I can't say one's better than the other either. So that was incredible. Atletico Madrid away. So yeah, that's in there, and there were moments of that I'll never forget.
What about top 5 goals at your 62?
Oh, right, flipping heck, yeah. Uh,
I mean,
so
give me your
Arsenal,
top 10 if you want.
Arsenal, Fulham again. Derby, obviously 3. That Southend goal was a good one away. There's other last minute goals that I've scored. I scored a couple against Sunderland in a game we won 4-2, I think. Volleys they were, not just headers, but I scored some terrific headers that I can when I look back and unbelievable. One against Birmingham. But just so many. I scored a lot of goals, really. 63 goals, I think, in total. So I had a lot to choose from. But moments, are special and in big games and big moments. There was some really good ones. So yeah.
Walsh, did you ever play against Doncaster?
Yeah, I've been sent off there at Doncaster once. That was with Wigan Athletic. I actually went in goal, I think, as well in one game, if I can remember rightly. That was Wigan Athletic. Doncaster, yeah, it's up north, isn't it, near Barnsley?
Yeah.
So I think it is somewhere up there. But no, I'm not against any Doncaster fans at all. But yeah, definitely played against them quite a few times, several times.
Ross asks about Caterpillar,
I
as you
knew
like to
he
call
just
him.
wants to wind me up, just Ross.
Can we
Um,
talk about the best manager ever, Potato Peeler, the man who thought Yakibai was worth £5 million?
yeah,
How did that come about in your time leaving Leicester City? Obviously, you have spoke about it, haven't you, quite openly.
yeah. It's not.
Talk to me about how that came about and
Yeah,
how
it's
you
not a
felt
time
treated
that
by him.
It's not a time that I really, you know. I mean, if Peter Taylor had come in and done the right thing, he should have been keeping me and getting me coaching badges and
Mm.
being a defensive coach. I was like the heartbeat of that team, and to take me out of it didn't do the lads any favours. Although they went top of the league, with Peter Taylor, but he wasn't great with me, and I despise him in every way. Like I say, if I could get a 14th red card, he'd have one straight away. And but I mean, Ross knows that I get wound up when I start speaking about Peter
Yeah.
Taylor. That's why he's winding me up now. But in all seriousness, and I really mean this, I hate the guy, but no one should be allowed. I shouldn't have been allowed to leave the club in the way I
No.
did, and it damaged me. Then now mentally, I don't feel it's the elements of that, how it happened, have hurt me badly, and it'll never go away. It'll never go away. And someone like him shouldn't be allowed to do things like what he did. And I had to accept that I was leaving a club that I give my heart and soul for, and I go and collect a bin liner with my boots and shin pads in, from the training ground on a Friday night. And Mac had given me in a black bin liner, and I walked out of the
Yeah.
club. No one even said goodbye, nothing. So come on, it just ain't right.
No, it's a disgrace, especially how long
Yeah,
you've managed at the
yeah,
club for 14 years. I
yeah.
mean, it's a long time, isn't it, when you
Yeah,
get treated badly at the
I
end.
still could have been on the bench as well. I was good enough to be on the bench, even though I was knackered. But they needed me in that dressing room, them lads, and they got relegated. That's the same season. But no, Peter Taylor will never be in my top team ever again. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't know what I'd do if I saw him. I really don't.
Well, it's definitely not on your Christmas card list this year, let's put it that way.
No, absolutely.
Your attempt to become Leicester manager. I mean, Gary Megson left. You obviously applied for the job.
Yes, yeah.
How
Well,
far did you get with that?
this maybe was one of the reasons why this Tater Peeler got the ump a bit, because me and Tony Cotti, we put our name in the hat because we felt that we could take that team. We knew,
Mm.
we surprised the board with who we were going to sign. We said we're going to sign a few players. And believe it or not, Chris Sutton was one of them. And so we were going to be taking this club into the right direction. And like I said, me and Tony did some homework on this, and we went down to Luton Airport to have a meeting with John Elsom and the board. And I don't think they expected us to come with what we came. And but the job had been given to Tater Peeler just before, because he walked out of the room smiling to us. So it was a shame, really, that they'd given the job already to him, which was clearly systematically destroyed our football club, didn't he, Peter Taylor? So
Yeah. I think you've gone a bit quiet, Walsh, on my end. I don't know if it's a signal. No. Go back out and come back in. See if that helps. Hold on. Hold on. Let me kick you a minute and then come straight back in. It's been a good chat so far with Walsh here. I'm going to ask him one last question before I wrap this up with him. Good chat with Walsh here so far. He will be coming back in. Is my connection good to your guys' end as well? I'm just checking, see if it were my end. Did anyone feel that Walsh, you were far away? Yeah, fairly here, Walshy. Yeah. You fine. Yeah. Hopefully Walshy comes back in. So yeah, I'm just gonna wait for him to come back in. And yeah, let me see if he'll come back in. Right.
Am I back?
Walsh, are you there?
Am I back? Yeah.
Right, there we go. If you
Can
turn
you
your
hear me?
camera,
Sorry, turn my camera. Yeah.
yeah, there we go. I can hear you now. You kind of felt like you were bloody 100 mile down the road, and I thought, what's Walsh saying?
Sorry.
It was like you were whispering.
I'm just holding my phone though. I've been holding it for half an hour now. It's like I'm struggling really.
Right, okay. I'm going to ask you the last one.
Yeah.
Best Leicester City 11 when the players you played with. Um, there's the list
Yeah.
you gave me.
Yeah. Well,
Talk
do
to
you
me
know
about
what?
each one.
I quickly went through this. It's not an easy thing to do that, you know. But the players I played with, I'm guessing, Kevin Poole. Let's start with Martin O'Neill. We know because I've spoken about that with Brian Little. Obviously, Martin and Brian were fantastic managers, but Martin would pip Brian, like I said. Kevin Poole and Tim Flowers, and again, Tim Flowers was absolutely the cat we used to call him, and I didn't play enough with him because I'd left just as he played quite a few games still. But Kevin Poole, I've never been had a keeper behind me that is so motivated, so you can't score in training past him. He wasn't that tall, but what a keeper he was. Pontus Kmart again. Brought a different dimension to this football club. And we all know what he did against Middlesbrough. Gary Mills has got to rival him. Gary Mills, for me, helped me a lot in my career, and he was my roommate. He travelled with me, but he set me up for a lot of goals as well. And he was a terrific bloke as well as a player with Gary Mills. Matt Elliott has got to be my right hand man, as best centre half that I've ever played with. Jerry Taggart, obviously, like I say, I didn't play enough games with Jerry, but he's still up there with Russell Osman. But Russell Osman was a terrific footballer. 2 feet, he could strike a ball. He read the game so well. He helped me in my early days, there. Neil Lennon, obviously, one of the finest midfielders alongside Muzzy. Come on, them two were instrumental in the success, and there's no one to beat them in that midfield. Who else did I put in there? Sorry,
Steve Guppy.
Gary McAllister. Again, a bit like Russell Osman, 2 feet. He could strike the ball. Wonderful footballer, Gary McAllister, and he has to be in there. And Heskey and Alan Smith. Alan Smith went on to Arsenal, and we all know how Emile did when he left us. But they were terrific players. I know there'll be a few arguments, people saying, "What about him? What about him?" But I quickly put that together today. I might be wrong with it all, but that is a pretty tidy 11 for me.
Yeah, I agree. Muzzy's obviously one of my all-time favourites as well.
Best player ever that's
played. I loved him.
Yeah.
Walshy, what are you up to these days regarding? Obviously, you are still with the club.
I'm an ambassador
you got
for
your
the
own
football
academy as
club.
well.
Yeah, I'm an ambassador of the football club, so I do all the games really. Do a few of the away games in the studio. Do a bit of community work, which is great. I've got the academy with Muzzy, AFDA, which is doing really well. 16 to 18-year-old kids, and we're doing another couple of little programs. We're doing one in We're opening one in Colville soon, which another BTEC program and alternative provision. We're going to be doing that after Christmas. So things are just kind of rolling on nicely, and it was Muzzy's birthday as well. He was 50 on the 31st of October. Mine was yesterday, so we're going up to Manchester in a few weeks for a little night out with the golfing lads.
Yeah, Ross said you gave him an happy birthday cameo. He did for him last year.
That's right. Yes, I did, and but yeah. It's look, I've known Ross, and I know Ross Greaves watches your show. He's a good mate of mine. So you're right, Ross. Are you listening tonight? I hope you are. Okay, mate.
I've got one for you before I let you go now, Walshy.
Yeah.
Leicester City this season. What's been your thoughts, and can they stay up?
It's difficult. The situation, as the squad, it's not as good as it was, is it not, of a couple of years ago? But we've just got to fight all we can. That's all we can do. You've got a squad of players. We've got to get the best out of. A lot of people are looking at Steve Cooper. I've met him actually. He's a top bloke. He really is. But people have been looking at who he plays and why he's not played Fatu. But there's certain reasons a manager gets, and he's got to juggle these players about the best he can and get the best out of them because we can't. We're not going to be signing anyone, are we? Probably we might do in the window. Might be an opportunity there. I don't know, but we put a lot of faith in Steve Cooper and then belief, and it's going to be a tough test. It is. Obviously, we sneaked that point, which was important against Ipswich away. But what are you asking me? Are we staying up or are we going down? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, where are you regarding Leicester?
Yeah, look, I'm right behind Leicester as I always am. I'm always very positive. I look at the team. There's still no real leadership there. I think that Faz there's too many fundamental errors at the back at the moment. They're making too many mistakes, and it's just having a little impact. Although one win, you're halfway up the table. But we've got some tough games coming up now, I believe. So it's going to be difficult. We'll have to ride the storm and win the games that we need to win. And you can see how there's a lot. Wolves haven't won a game. There's 2 or 3 teams haven't won a game. We've won 2 games, so it possibly should have been 4, and yet it's not. And it's going to be a fight right to the end. This is, and I don't know how it's going to go, to be honest with you.
Great. Walsh, thank you for coming on, mate, Mr. Leicester City.
Thanks.
And I'll see you again very soon.
Yeah.
Take care.
Okay, good luck with the show. Yeah, all right, lads.
Cheers, Walsh. See you later. That was Steve Walsh, Leicester City legend, former captain, and Mr. Leicester City. Great to sit down and have a chat with Walsh here. See you later, Jack. Appreciate that. Guys, if you've enjoyed this stream, hit the like button for me. We really much appreciate. Subscribe if you haven't already and you're new, and that'd be really appreciated as well. But no, thank you for everyone's time. I know we was late by about half an hour, but we've managed to get quite a lot in since we started. And episode 3 of the X Fox in the Box with Steve Walsh. Great chat. And happy birthday to Walshy for yesterday. 60 years old. Don't look a day younger. But yeah, what a guy. And hopefully now we can really kick on Saturday when Leicester are back in action again. Man United away. And big game. But no, appreciate it. Thanks for everyone coming in. And I'll see you again for another episode of the X Fox in the Box. See you later. Take care. Hi all. Thank you for watching The Final Whistle. If you enjoy all our content, please remember to smash a like, share and subscribe to the channel.